You don't have to be a tech startup unicorn to do that. That could be any business. And I agree with you, doing people a disservice when you immediately point them down that direction, which has a very low likelihood of success. And they're going to find themselves back in that cubicle in 18 months.
Yeah.
Rather than saying, you know what, I would like you to go and do an audit of all of the service industries in your region and tell me which one is the most underserved.
This is another episode.
Big talk about small business.
Okay, big talk about small business. And we got Joe Saumweber here with us.
Joe is the man.
Joe is the man. We need to properly introduce Joe.
I agree.
It's hard to say. I mean, the guy's like sailed around the globe on his catamaran. He's founded businesses and exited successfully. Now he's got this massive organic farm operation.
Yeah.
He's lived a lot of different lives.
Hey, life is short. Make it exciting.
Exactly right.
And he's not even that old yet. You know? Not like me. I mean, you could say,
you're not old, Mark.
Yes,
how old are you?
I'm be turning 68 in less than 2 months.
Dang. That's great, man.
Yeah.
It's young.
Yeah, it is.
Killing it.
But so, Joe, tell us a little, tell our audience a little bit about yourself.
Yeah. So, I'm a dad. I've got 5 kids. I'm a husband. I've been married for 20 years now. Just barely reached 20 years in December, which is awesome. And
I haven't hit that milestone, by the way.
Well, not with the same woman.
No, right, exactly. I mean, collectively.
20 years.
Yeah, but that's not what Joe's talking about.
No, he's not. No, Joe.
No, I didn't skip over anything there. It is, in fact, the same woman, Mary. She's
Very
fantastic.
Good.
Yeah.
And I've got a penchant for fun and adventure, and that kind of exhibits in all kinds of forms, from entrepreneurship to sailing around the world to learning how to farm at over 40, which I don't recommend. It's, if you haven't grown up doing that work.
I've never had interest in farming.
Actually,
so
I'm intrigued.
Never going to do that.
I'm going to learn a lot because I do have strong interest in being
his own
interest
in farming is he just likes to have heavy equipment.
Dig dirt.
Okay,
totally. I've seen his truck.
Yeah.
I need something. I need to pull around stuff.
If it's an excuse to buy heavy equipment, Eric's in.
100%.
Maybe you should own a trail building company.
Caring for animals.
Yeah.
That's a good idea. I like that.
Anyways, so yeah.
So where'd you start out, Joe? Tell us a little bit about your
So I started out, grew up in Chicago, graduated high school in Chicago, went and served a 2-year mission for my church in Long Beach, California, speaking Spanish. Came home and taught Spanish for a couple of years, enjoyed that while I was going to school at BYU. Never graduated from BYU, started my first business while I was in school. Doing virtual tours for mainly commercial facilities, back when that was a fairly novel concept.
And explain that, you're talking about photography.
Yeah. So like what you see on Google Street View, right? Mm-hmm. We used to do for like student housing and hotels and things like that. A little bit different than the folks that were doing it for real estate. We had a little higher end product, but too young and dumb to understand that I had zero competitive moat, that it was a highly commoditized business. And that 2008 hit and marketing budgets disappeared, and it went the way of all the world.
Yeah.
And I was paying tuition in school and I was paying tuition out of school in my.
That's part of your education too, right? Doing that business, you learned a lot.
I did, and I think the point was I learned more doing that than I was in class, and so I ended up leaving school to pursue that full time, and I just never really enjoyed school. It never jived with me super well. Couldn't tell you why. I was a sociology major. I was a construction management major. I was a business major. I just kind of floated around.
Too many interests.
It never got past never got deep into anything and figured I was wasting money. And anyways, so found myself, at the end of that business thinking, I'll go back to school when it starts to inhibit my career progress. And it just never quite did. So I went to Rockfish after that, where I met Eric.
That's where Joe and I met.
That's
Rockfish Interactive.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
This was what, 2008, 9?
Yeah. Right around there, 2009.
Weren't they right there on Dixon in the building we were in?
That's where they originally were.
They were in our office.
Yeah.
That was the
old Swag White building that we took over. But when Joe and I joined, they were up at Horseborn Road in Rogers.
Okay.
Yeah.
you can trace a lot of entrepreneurial successes back to that core group that was at Rockfish.
You get some good people.
Gathered a lot of great talent, and anyways, it's fun to kind of trace the lineage back. Spent several years there, and then
we were so young.
We were.
You were good,
but having fun.
I tell you what, like I came in, I had probably a little bit more like career experience at that time than Joe, just from like a timeline standpoint. I was older, and I just gotten there before. But then Joe came in. We were both kind of senior AEs, basically, right? So same kind of roles, different accounts, and I mean Joe just really did a great job, like handling the accounts, obviously, and planning them and making them successful, but far better than I was ever at. Speaking to our original conversation of handling the dynamics of the internal organization.
The sociology
was great.
Education, I think it's helpful. Serious. I know another, Kit Miyamoto of Miyamoto.
Yeah.
He was a sociology major before he became a famous structural earthquake engineer.
Interesting.
Yeah. And it helps him because he works in all these foreign countries.
Yeah.
And he understands how to, learn the culture.
Organizational psychology has always been a really interesting field for me, and I love it, and I like those dynamics. I don't have a lot of patience for bureaucracy, though.
Right.
Yeah. We don't either.
And so it's why I didn't go work for one of the big three in town. I worked for a smaller company, but even small companies, once they get to a certain size, can't help themselves from generating this bureaucracy and putting people in place that are. We were talking about starters and scalers. Sometimes I don't have a lot of patience for scalers either, right? Just like slow and steady. And I just want this, very incremental.
Yeah.
We've got a process, please follow it. Like, cool.
Yeah.
Is it a good process? Does it drive the outcomes we want?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so eventually found my way out of that, starting RevUnit with Michael Palladino.
Mm-hmm. And y'all were both at Breakfast then too, right?
Yeah, we had the benefit of having worked together for several years and having a great working relationship first.
But before Rockfish?
No.
Just while
we were there, gotcha. Yeah. And so we had a great flow, great team together. It's the most expensive decisions anyone makes in the early stages of a startup is which partners they pick and how they
100%.
Who they put on their cap table, right?
Yes.
And Michael and I did the thing that everyone says you shouldn't do. And we were 50-50 partners from the beginning. And I was blessed with two great marriages.
Yeah.
one to Mary and one to Michael for those years that we were together.
Let's talk about that 50-50 split, because I get that total a lot, but that's been my partnership relationships.
Oh, really?
Yeah, with JS. And even my co-founder at White Spider, Alex and Mott, we were 50-50 JS, and I were 50-50 when he came in. And then at Fury, 50-50 again.
Yeah.
I see it being extremely powerful if you have the right partner. That's the big ticket.
That's the big if.
So it's not, hey, don't ever be 50-50, always be 51. That's not the answer. It's like,
I agree.
Don't ever be 50-50 with somebody you don't have absolute, confidence on both sides that you're a good partnership.
I think so much of it is that if you're both trying to do the same thing and you're 50-50, it's going to be a problem.
You're right.
Yeah. If you have really vastly different roles and skill sets, then it can work out fine.
Agreed.
And that was Michael and I. We had very different skill sets. Michael comes from a technology background. He was a coder that learn to speak English and be really good in front of a client, right? Which is a very rare skill set.
Sure. For coders.
Learn to speak English. You're talking about just in general for coders.
Exactly.
It sure is. I agree.
And he didn't have another language.
No. He was just really good at articulating technology and technical strategy and why things should be done a certain way. And when you're in a consulting practice, which is essentially what we were, being able to go toe to toe with enterprise tech folks and walk the walk and talk the talk with them, but also be able to elevate to the business side and say, well, here's what your tech team is saying and why you should listen and why it's important was really great. And then I came from more of a strategy background and business development background. And so that's the side of the house that I ran, including, and as well as product development, so product was part of the organization I ran. But having a partner that was 50-50 with me in everything, just as committed.
Yeah.
And there from the beginning was extraordinary and a wonderful experience. There was no like, well, I'm a minority partner. Like that's yours to deal with.
That's right.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's someone who's truly like equally yoked with you in the business. Right. And I think that's why it's powerful.
I agree. I mean, it's literally like a marriage, right? I mean, I think even more intense than a marriage in some regards, because you don't sleep together usually. You don't spend that time.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you have a marriage if I'm 40% the dominating part of the marriage, it's going to cause a lot of friction. One person's going to feel demotivated. They're not going to feel included. The other person's going to feel overpowered and domineering, right? I mean, it's just...
It can't. I mean, it doesn't have to be.
Well, yeah, you're right.
I mean, I had Fred White initially. It was 75-25. And then when we
Were you 75 or what?
Yeah. Okay. And then we made it 60-40. But I had a lot more experience than Fred. Yeah. I was out there for 10 years before he was. Yeah. Okay. I had all the clients and everything. But it still didn't mean we didn't have equal weighting of each other's opinions, And,
well, I don't think 50-50 has to be the case, right? Yeah. There's certainly a lot of scenarios where people just bring different levels of value and experience.
Exactly. And it worked out fine.
Well, but you were also a good 60% partner for him.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, think about it, though. I mean, I think it comes down to the person, is all I'm saying, right? The percentages, it really comes down to the people on the cap table.
Mm-hmm. And the way you treat each other.
Yes.
And so... But anyway, you guys were both into it. You took this company. You started as a consulting business.
Yeah.
And you grew it.
We did. Yeah. We initially thought we would be our conviction was that there's a lot of startups out there that didn't have good technical co-founders. And so we were going to go be that for them. We were going to help build their products, be the kind of the technical folks in the room to help them bring these things to life. And the problem with that thesis is that there were no startups in Northwest Arkansas at the time with any money.
There you go. That is the problem. Yeah.
That's a core problem.
That's always
Did you not look into that?
Our ICP was really poor. Yeah. They had zero funding and zero money. So these are things that you learn. This is
what Silicon Valley exactly out here, was it?
No, it was not. It was a bit of a wilderness back in 2012.
Sure.
And so we started getting at-bats with some medium-sized companies in regional markets down in Dallas, up in Kansas City, and St. Louis. And so we were working with Mary Kay Cosmetics, Park Place dealerships, Virgin Hotels.
Cool.
And so we were starting to get some street cred, and these are clients that can pay, which is nice. So we're scaling the team. Mm-hmm. And then, about a year and a half in, 2 years in, Walmart comes knocking, and it changed everything.
Yeah.
And so they, asked us to start standing up teams for them. And then once we had that logo on the wall and we had that confidence of hey, if we can do it for them, we can do it for anybody, then the whole world of opportunity opened up to us. And we were just kind of off to the races. We ended up, we owned the company 8 years, 84% compound annual growth rate. For a services company is pretty wild. For a tech company, it's not, nothing to write home about, but great result, great private equity partners that ended up doing the transaction with us. And we were, I was able to kind of write myself out of that plan and continue on to my sailing adventure with the family, which was a great payoff moment for me to spend that time with family.
So if we get into the sailing, just real quick on the business, RevUnit, what was the actual product? Like y'all were developing, I mean, at the end of the day, for clients, what were you mostly doing? Weren't y'all doing like a lot of apps, mobile apps for people?
We did a lot of mobile apps. Mainly it was building, taking our consumer-facing technology skill set, like really polished applications, but applying that to the workforce of some of the biggest companies in the world. Because you had these huge companies that are building these amazing consumer apps, and we could have done that work, but their employees are sitting on a dusty green screen in the back room.
Interesting. Okay.
And they're having this really terrible experience, and the customers are walking in with more information than the employee has. And so we're helping take paper-based processes or, old archaic, green screen processes and putting them on modern devices with modern design, and liberating data for the first time inside the enterprise to help these folks make smarter decisions to get work done faster and more efficiently.
Okay. Good pitch.
So it's not like your typical intranet with all these clunky
no.
spreadsheets.
SharePoint was like a cuss word in our office. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's interesting. That is a really, that's a niche right there.
Yeah. And we loved it because we were going up against like these really big monolithic consultancies, the Deloittes and the McKinseys and the Bains and the Accentures and Tatas, and like we just look so different. And so we, if you're small and you're David versus a Goliath, you want to show up different, and we could, which is fun.
That's awesome. I'll express like having some sort of similar experiences. The David versus Goliath thing. I had that on my LinkedIn profile for a long time. Like I'm David, you're Goliath. It was smack talking, but
You smacked on?
Yeah, I was. Can you believe it?
Yeah, it's hard to believe.
Publicly. But I think there's so much honor and integrity in that. Like what you guys did, right? What you and Michael set out to do, nothing, hard work, nose to the grindstone, figuring it out, taking risk, really important sales meetings, big deals happening, getting the big logo, continue to grow and win, and then building people. I mean, all from the scratch. I mean, there's a lot of esteem that comes with that, so congratulations, you guys. Yeah. I mean, what was really cool was watching Joe and Michael. I knew Michael a little bit at Rockfish, but I was on the customer side like Joe was, so I knew Joe better. But seeing those, as I left Rockfish before they did and kind of started, I don't think I started White Spider then. I started something else, but then to see Joe and Michael go out later and then they exited sooner, like they built their company really fast and were able to exit, I think at least 2 or 3 years before we did at White Spider. It was just awesome, just awesome to see. And you guys did it.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, it's a classic story.
The ride of a lifetime.
It really was fantastic. And you timed your exit so well, too.
Perfect. These are things that you don't,
you
don't want to attribute it to these things, but they're really real. Like we rode an incredible economic wave. We had 10, 12 year run there of economic growth. We had tailwinds in an industry of, mobile and application development, and, technology transformation of the enterprise. Like we just had so many tailwinds behind us. We had a really great community that was growing and starting to attract, like in the early days of RevUnit, you couldn't pay people enough to move them here. By 3, 4, 5 years in, everyone's like, hey, I read about this place in Forbes. Or I read about this place, top 10 places to live. And so we had this support coming from the community that was interested in building. And so, so many things lined up to enable that for us. So we're just really grateful that, the fates aligned.
Yeah.
So I'm glad you brought that up, though. I want to take this just a slightly different direction before we get into Joe's sailing adventures. What do you think about the quote entrepreneurship ecosystem that comes from, forget the money part of it. Let's just talk more about the education part of it, or the companies that are, I don't want to say parasitic, but they're rely on public funding to support entrepreneurs. How do you feel about all that? Do you think they're doing a good job, I guess, creating the future entrepreneurs?
It's a setup.
Mark, you asked that question in such a way that I feel like I should toss it right back to you to give your opinion.
No, I'm curious.
How do you feel about it, Mark?
I want to know, though, what you think, because you're an experienced person who's done it.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I think that I'm just curious, and you've been here and you see you've been a big part of Northwest Arkansas for this run up of our entrepreneurial culture here, which is real, and it's but what do you think about, are we doing a good job?
I have thoughts and feelings, some of them positive and charitable and some of them less so. I think there have been people that have been here for a very long time, that have been doing incredible work at building community, and like you talk about nose of the grindstone, day in, day out, like scheduling meetups, running calendars, getting things like Million Cups set up, and regular touch points for founders to get together and create community. And they've lived here a long time, they're invested in the community and they care. And those are like the angels of the founder community in Northwest Arkansas, in my mind. I think of guys like Jeff Amarai, for instance, right? Like just day in, day out, killing it for everybody. That's right. Yeah. And then you've got these, entrepreneur support organizations that are more on a national level that have, lots of credibility, and they kind of swoop in and they're in and they do a big flashy thing and they gather everybody up and then they disappear and you don't really know where they went, but they disappeared with a lot of money, right? We're not alone in this, but I think a lot of communities that want to become more entrepreneurial have a hard time working with the experts that are already there, and they just have this propensity to want to bring in outside expertise all the time. People that aren't invested in the community, and I rarely see that work out well.
Yeah.
That's my opinion. I don't know if that's what you were going for or not.
Well, that's part of it. I mean, I just think
It's on the way to what we want you to answer it.
Oh, yeah. Just tell me what you want to hear, and I'll be happy to say it. Yeah. Let me validate you, Mark.
We can get you a script next time.
I mean, it just seems to me that there's a lot of sort of
innovation theater.
Yeah, misinformation out there about there being a certain way to start and grow a business. There's overemphasis, in my opinion, on ideation and coming up with something new that's never been done before.
Okay.
There's more when there's so much opportunity in just a zillion mature industries all over the place.
That's real. Like I have people come in and asking me all the time, like, hey, what do you think about this? Or, someone who just not exited, but left or was laid off from one of the major employers.
Corporate. Sure.
Yeah. They're like, hey, what do you think about this app idea? I'm like, that's interesting, but what you should do is go start a plumbing business.
Yeah. Or
a pool care company, or like, it's just as entrepreneurial. Like it really is. And the way private equity is dealing with, home services businesses, it's a huge opportunity for anyone who knows how to actually run a business.
Yeah, there's some sort of technology background that understands how to use emails and calendars.
Right.
Yeah,
knows how to show up on time and do what you say you're going to do. Right?
Yeah, I know. That's such a big, just be responsive and show up.
Have good billing procedures.
I mean,
change the world.
It's the inglorious side of entrepreneurship, but I think it leads to every bit as good of an outcome, a much more a predictable outcome.
That's it. Lower risk, in my opinion. Risk.
Yeah,
way lower
maybe
risk.
It's not a unicorn.
Yeah, maybe you're not going to make a grand slam, but you can make a triple. Yeah, right. Exactly. I mean, this is the thing, and so I think when you set that, and everything's aimed at that, and this other stuff is basically poo-pooed. We're not interested in that. I mean, for years here, nobody had any interest in any business that did not create knowledge workers jobs.
Yeah.
There was no interest in that at all.
That's about to change.
Okay.
So there's no question about it. That has to change.
It's got to.
Knowledge workers are quickly being replaced by AI, right? So we're going to have a bunch of knowledge workers sitting on the street looking for knowledge work that doesn't exist.
And then plumbers that are needed.
Exactly.
Right. And we'll pay them $100K a year.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I get it. Well, anyway, I just I always have to get into that because I just think that there's so much misinformation and we're not doing people a service if we tell them that that's the only route to go. My theory on it all is if people think, well, if I can't come up with something new and have the next quote unicorn, then I might as well forget that, go to work at Starbucks.
Right.
Okay. It's like, no.
It's funny because so many people, like when you look at the profile of an entrepreneur and what they want and why they want to be an entrepreneur. And usually it's because they can't stand being anything else.
Yeah.
It's a profile of a person that wants to work for themselves, that wants to, be in charge of their own destiny, that wants to be the decider, and that wants to, have a direct correlation between the work and effort they put in and the benefit that they get back. And you don't have to be a tech startup unicorn to do that. That could be any business. And I agree with you. You're doing people a disservice when you immediately point them down that direction, which has a very low likelihood of success. And they're going to find themselves back in that cubicle in 18 months.
Yeah.
Rather than saying, you know what, I would like you to go and do an audit of all of the service industries in your region and tell me which one is the most underserved.
Yeah.
Put together a business plan to acquire somebody that knows how to do that. And then, how are you going to make that business better over the next 5 years? I'd much rather invest in that.
I'm looking for new accountants in a business that I'm involved with. It's not here, but I have sent 5 inquiries out to accounting firms. And you know how many I've heard back from?
Don't tell me 0.
0.
Are you serious?
0.
I had the same problem. The only ones I heard back from were astronomical.
It blows my mind.
Don't get me started on accounting.
I'm probably going to deal with somebody here because even though the business is not here, only because they're responsive.
That's right.
I've got a guy.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we can talk about that. Yeah. But it's like,
I need to know about your guy too.
but it blows. It just blows me away. Like you said, I mean, there's just all these opportunities out there where people are just doing a bad job, and you can come in and do something well. And I'm glad you brought up like why entrepreneurs are entrepreneurs and what they do. Mm-hmm. I had a lunch yesterday with a fellow who wants to start a new business. He's an engineer. Mm-hmm. He's a sharp guy. He's done a lot of different stuff. He's got his wiring is right. He goes, I said, why do you want to do this? He's like, well, he goes, I know this sounds terrible, but he goes, I just want to control my time. I go, that's the reason why a lot of people start businesses.
Nothing terrible.
That's not terrible.
Yeah.
You think it's to say, you think any of us started out with our business? We're doing that because we want to make a lot of money. It was never even a consideration. It's an outcome. Mm-hmm. It's a potential outcome, but it's not what motivates you to start something, is it?
No, I mean, yes, but so that I could have time later.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, that's another thing. Yeah.
I was willing to put in the 70 hours a week, and I was willing to grind because I had this vision that, sometime at a reasonable age,
you'd be where you are at today.
Exactly.
Yeah, I can choose what I want to do.
I think that on that topic, like one of my things that bugs me to death, and we've discussed it before, about this whole community and the way that it's being advertised, is kind of the sex appeal about being an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
It drives me absolutely nuts. Like, entrepreneurism is the most dangerous career path that you could ever take. It's got the highest risk, mm-hmm. It's got the most uncertainty. It could have bankruptcy all over it, right? You don't really go bankrupt.
Great opportunity for shame.
Yeah. Shaming and failure. Right. All of it's there. And I just think that it's like, to glorify it, right? And Mark and we've discussed it too, like prior to like the 1920s, everybody was a freaking entrepreneur. Everybody had a small mm-hmm. business until mm-hmm. big industry came in. Mm-hmm. But nobody was doing it because it was sexy and cool. Really. Everybody was doing it because who survived. And
they had to.
They had to. Because their dad did it.
Yeah.
Right. Because, that's what you do, right?
Yeah.
And now we've turned around and made it into some sort of glorious, victorious thing. And I think those expectations are dangerous.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up too the work that it took, Joe, to get to where you were and the sacrifice you make, because that's another misconception. I think most any of us who accomplished anything had to put in extraordinary effort, and that's okay because it did pay off and it did give other options to all of us to do other things. But to say, I'm going to have this great thing and I'm going to have this perfect work-life balance is totally unrealistic. Mm-hmm. I think. Trade-offs.
100%. And some people, get into a business where they can manage that better than others. But if you're in a scalable enterprise and you're going for an exit, I don't know that you're going to be having a lot of free time.
Yeah.
For a while. Yeah. If you want a lifestyle business that pays you decently well into perpetuity and you're always going to be working.
Yes.
Great.
Exactly. It's a different matter. That to me is the distinction between small business and entrepreneurship right there. Okay. The small business, they're going to make a good living. Maybe they do have their lifestyle, but at the moment they stop, they're done. They got nothing to pay off that sacrifice later. Mm-hmm. There's no buildup of value that you can cash in on. Why do you think it is that so many small business owners don't understand? This show is big talk about small business. Why do you think so many small business owners don't understand the opportunity that exists to grow a business and have an exit, and instead focus only on short-term results, short-term profitability, not making the investments in people and marketing and systems, which are the only three ways you're going to grow a business, right? Mm-hmm. But they don't make that investment because that compromises their immediate extractions from the business. Therefore, it doesn't grow. And they don't have that exit. Why do you think so many people miss that opportunity that exists?
I think they got into it for different reasons. And it's a mindset difference between a small business owner and a scalable, startup.
Yeah.
Right. The small business owner got into something because it's a passion, or it's something they knew how to do, or they fell into it because someone asked them to build a pool one time, and now it's great. I know how to do that now, so I'm going to go do that again. they never envisioned for themselves this day where they're selling that and exiting it. They never envisioned that they're actually creating asset value that's appreciating over time. And until someone walks up and says, hey, there's 5 other companies like you that have, across the country that have exited over the last 18 months. And these are the kind of multiples they're getting. And this is like the levers of value that created those multiples. Like until someone has that conversation with you, I don't know that you can envision, like you can't even fathom it. Right.
The levers of value.
But it is a great gift when someone is willing to explain that to you, because then you're like, oh, well, now I'm willing to invest differently. Now I'm willing to sacrifice differently. Now I'm willing to forego some of this short-term wants for a long-term outcome.
So speaking of those long-term outcomes, like you were talking about, so you had your exit.
Yeah.
And you said something really important I don't want to skip, is that you, at the time of the exit opportunity, you scripted yourself into a different lifestyle, right?
Correct.
You exited at a time of some sort of exiting point.
Yeah.
Tell us a little about that. Like you already had in your mindset what your next chapter was going to be and what you were going to do. So you had a goal beforehand? Or?
Kind of. I didn't know that we were going to go sailing, but I did know that I needed a break.
Okay.
I get that.
And so, right, like you feel like you've been running a sprint for the duration of a marathon.
Yeah.
Right. And just running a process to sell your business it's like a job on top of your job, right? So if you're the CEO and you're running the company and you're like, okay, but I also have to run this process, and you've got investment bank involved, and you're having regular meetings and your pitch decks, and people are coming in and wanting you to beef up your data room, and like
always information, more and more information,
more and more.
Yeah.
Due diligence is a beast.
Yeah.
It is.
Anyways, so
acquisition's a beast.
I was fortunate enough to know what I wanted before we started that process. And so when we first sat down with our investment bank to talk about going to market and selling a business, I said, listen, I'm out. I want to be out. And they said, great. You need to promote someone to president right now.
Yes.
And they need to operate the business for a year while we're
good
advice.
While
we're going. And I said, great.
Very good advice.
So we did that. And that it allowed me more time to work on the process of selling the business, which was a side benefit I didn't anticipate, but was huge. Because pulling out of the operations day to day was a huge gift, because it is a full-time job to sell your business.
Sure.
And then that was just the story. It was the story. Every time we met with someone, they're like, hey, who's staying? Who's going? What's going on? And everyone knew, like, Joe's going.
Yeah.
And the intention was to stay on the board and participate for quite some time. After everything was over and done, felt like I wasn't necessarily as needed or wanted because we had new leaders that were wanting to grow and step into that. And I wanted to give them room to do that.
Sure.
And so I didn't feel bad when Mary and I had a moment where we were like, you know what, COVID just hit. Our kids that were homeschooling anyways, we're doing church at home anyways. Like, we could do this from anywhere. Where do we want to do it from? We want to do it from a boat.
Wow.
And so I was fortunate to be in a position already where I could say, hey guys, you already don't need me. I'm out. And we went sailing.
So what, the boat?
Yeah, let's tell us
Did
more.
you know something about boats? I mean,
not as much as I should have.
Now you do, right?
Not as much as I did a few months later. Yeah.
How did you find this boat? What kind of boat was it? And what did you do with it?
So we ended up buying this old, like 65, it was a beautiful boat. It's a 65-foot catamaran. It's privilege. It was 20 years old, very well taken care of. But this thing is like, under the hood,
they are complicated.
It had, like, the wiring had been redone half a dozen times. Like, so bear with me just because this is like emblematic of what I dealt with for 2.5 years of my life, right? You got a guy who's used to, like, I build PowerPoints for a living, and all of a sudden I'm having to learn how to run this boat. This boat was built in Europe. So it's a 220, 50 hertz boat, right? And then it's got an American owner who converts everything some things to 60 hertz at 110. And then they've got appliances that have to be 220 at 60 hertz. And then they've got 24 volt electricity to run a lot of the rigging. And they've got 12 volt electricity to run. So I've got like
inverters and converters.
I got 5 different kinds of inverters, 5 different kinds of electrical systems running on the boat, 6 sub panels hidden under like benches and beds.
There's no owner's manual.
There's no, there was, but like everything has changed 6 times since then.
I get it.
I've got hydraulic systems that run sails. I've got 4 diesel engines, 2 main engines, 2 generators.
That is complicated.
Sail systems. Like the easiest part is sailing the daggone boat.
Yeah.
The hardest part is maintaining all of these systems that are, challenging, right? And I don't know how to do any of it.
God,
So
man.
that was the steepest learning curve I've probably ever had to go through in my life was learning all that stuff.
And you got your whole family with you. Actually, your life depends on your ability.
Where's Dad? He's cussing in the engine, throwing wrenches.
You're like the dad in A Christmas Story down in the basement with the boiler.
That's constantly, just constantly messing with it.
So
your family was in on this. Like Mary was just like, yeah, let's do this.
Totally in, totally committed. Wow. Everyone's excited. And like anything that is romantic, there's like the other side of that coin of like, oh, this got real. This is not quite what we envisioned. And that first year we were all in the Caribbean and we had a lot of those experiences, like ton of gear failure, like fire in the engine room, hundreds of miles offshore.
Oh my God.
Your boom is crashing down, sails are flapping. Like we just had gear failure out the wazoo, losing steering, in the middle of the night. I can't even walk you through it all. It was unreal.
Pirates.
We did have some experiences where we had to like go dark because we had, skiffs. We're sailing from the Bahamas down to Cartagena, Colombia. And on that passage, you go in between Haiti and Cuba. Right, which is not the friendliest of places. You're aware of where you are. Geographically, I'm not in the friendliest of zones. So while we're in in between Haiti and Cuba, like the first thing that happens is we're dodging thunderstorms, and then the second thing that happens is we've got this skiff that starts trailing us about a mile off, and evening is coming, and we're alone, and so we end up going dark. We turn off. Yeah, who knows, right? Yeah, and we didn't carry. Boats have different philosophies about that. Some boats are like, I hide guns in my boat. Mm-hmm. I'm like, what happens when you start shooting? What are the chances that you are going to outgun pirates? Right?
Yeah, I know.
Like the last thing I want is to get outgunned, right? I'm not going to start shooting.
Might get to take a few of them down, though. I mean,
like, there's nothing about me and my 5 kids and wife that's going to scare off anyone that wants to board my boat, no matter what kind
Swiss
of.
family.
Well, maybe if you took your shirt off and painted your face,
maybe.
He loves that Mel Gibson movie. Okay, he always comes back to Braveheart.
Turn into Braveheart from they might get scared.
Maybe they'd have to get awfully close to be scared of me. Closer than I want.
Well, you want them close. It's a knife fight.
Yeah. Anyways, we did. We had some experiences on that passage.
So we went dark. Like, what does it mean? You turned off all lights?
You turn off all of your lights and you turn off your AIS, your positioning system that broadcasts where you are, and then you change course. And you turn on engines and you change speed. So you're wanting to go faster and you're wanting to be on a new course so that by the time the light comes up in the morning, you are in a place that they don't expect you to be and they can't find you, which is ended up being what happened. Right. But we never saw them again.
But you have no idea where you're at either.
We do. Yeah. No, we have GPS. Like I know where I am, but I'm not broadcasting a signal that says where I am. Right. Yes. And so, no one can find me. That was one of 2 situations. We had a Chinese fishing vessel that made some very aggressive maneuvers in the middle of the Pacific, actually. Like, came up right on us, 100 guys on deck, shirtless, like not smiling, 50 yards off of the back of our boat. Like, we're going like this, and they came in right behind us. I know no one who's listening can see this, but an aggressive change of course coming right on our stern, like looking like they're about ready to board us. And followed us for about 5 miles that way.
Did they think you were in their fishing ground or something?
We're a catamaran. Like I can put out 2 lines. Like what am I going to do? Wow. But that was 1,000 miles offshore. You're in the middle of nowhere. You've got no radio contact with anybody. The most I've got is like this is before Starlink. So I've got a satellite that works sometimes that might allow me a text message, and that's kind of all you've got.
So
thanks, son.
You did that for a couple of years, right?
Yeah.
And then why did you decide to end that, and what came after that?
We'd made it across the Pacific. Our second year was fantastic. Like we paid our dues in the Caribbean. Second year coming across the Pacific, so many remote places like French Polynesia, hundreds of islands, amazing, remote. You can't get there any other way. Fiji, hundreds of islands, super remote, Tonga, and then we ended in New Zealand. And so the question was, do we go back up and over Australia and into Indonesia, which would have been really fun, or do we wrap up here? And we had a son that was coming into his high school years, and he wanted to have that high school experience. And it just felt like we had accomplished all the things that we'd set out to do. We'd made some amazing memories.
And what a great experience for your kids. I mean, to see all these different places and live like that. I mean, how many of their peers can claim that? Yeah. They're all just sitting around on their phones and talking about the Friday night football game or whatever. Yeah. I mean, that's a wild, must have been great for them. Let them see some other places in the world and how people live, right?
It's a big deal.
It is. It's a really big deal.
It's a big world.
It's one of the reasons why I think people aren't very empathetic. Yeah. Is they just have no experience dealing with other people and cultures. They don't know how other people really live.
Yeah.
So,
and to be clear, my kids still sit around on their phones.
Yeah, right. But nothing you can do about that.
We do have that conversation, you can have this, is this real or not real? Yeah. Conversation. You know what real is. You've experienced real. Is what you're dealing with right now on social media or Instagram. Is it real or not real?
It's about the only way you can teach your kids that is to separate them from that, what you did. That's really cool. 2.5 years straight on the seas.
Yeah, we did come home a couple times. I got deathly ill at one time and had to come home for some emergency medical treatment. And so we were home
while you were at sea?
5 weeks. We were actually in Cartagena. Okay. So we spent 6 months living in Cartagena, Colombia, doing a bunch of work on the boat. And we'd done some traveling inland, and I got sick while we did that. Ended up having leptospirosis. Really weird thing. It's your brain starts swelling. It behaves a lot like dengue, which is what they thought I had. So they started treating me for dengue, and I didn't get better. And anyways, came home. The docs here at Mercy diagnosed me like that, got me fixed up, but it was a close call. I was in kidney failure, liver was on its way. It was good Lord. Brain was swelling. It was a tense moment.
What's that cause from? Like a virus or?
It's a bacteria.
Really?
Yeah.
Waterborne.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ready to level up your show? At podcastvideos.com, we offer industry-leading recording and expert marketing to help your show reach more listeners. From creation to distribution, we've got you covered. Visit podcastvideos.com and elevate your podcast today.
Well, so then you came back.
Yep.
And you came back to Northwest Arkansas.
We did.
Did you have a house here all that time?
We did, yeah.
So you kept your house.
Came home to the same house.
Okay.
We've lived there 10 years now. We just, we love it. We're out in the country, and we've added onto it and made it our own. But
so what did you do with it when you were gone all that time?
We Airbnb'd it, and it was awesome.
Oh, okay, good. So you had management.
Property manager that ran it.
Cool. So now you've got this organic farm. What possessed you to do that?
Well, we've been all over the world and kind of interacted with these people who've lived much the way they have for hundreds of years. And, we pull up to an island in Fiji, and someone invites you over for dinner, and they don't have to go to Walmart. They go and they kill a pig on the hillside, and they collect some, root vegetables, and they pull a fish out that they, caught earlier that day, and they make an amazing meal. And then everyone went to the store, and that happened so many times that we're like, man, these people's relationship with food is very different.
Yeah.
And how it's
much healthier too, I'm sure, than all the processed crap that we eat. Right.
Yeah.
Mark just, by the way, picked him up some Burger King on the way.
No, I did not. I've changed my diet.
That's right. You did.
I've got a trainer now 4 days a week.
Dang,
so there you go, Mark.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
My wife wanted it, and I got her that for Christmas, and decided that I would do it too.
I can't believe you would. I would tell my wife no. I'm not. I don't usually. I tell her no about everything that she asks me to do.
Yeah, I have the exact opposite relationship with mine. I tell her yes to everything she wants to do.
Isn't that amazing?
And it's so low stress.
We're all like that.
It's so low stress. It's lovely.
But that relationship with food, and so what are you doing now? You're trying to you're doing that here.
Yeah, we're trying to, we came home. One thing I learned about myself after RevUnit was I got to have a thing.
Yeah.
Or I go through, depression, and I don't know what to do. And I wake up in the morning, it's a terrible feeling.
Yeah.
And so, knowing that, we started sketching out what would become Tuckaway Farm as we're sailing across the Pacific on graph paper. And, we knew that that's what we wanted to do, and we came home. And so we did. We came home, and about 3 days later, we were putting shovels in the ground, building our little regenerative farm here in Northwest Arkansas, where we grow over 75 different kinds of vegetables. We raise layer hens for eggs.
Wow.
We raise pigs, and our whole mission and vision with that is to let people come and see what it looks like to interact with the land in a responsible and ethical way. We're about as granola as it gets when it comes to farming methodologies, and it's really fun.
So what's the economics to it? Do you sell the meats?
We do. We sell. So we have a farm membership program each year. Like last year, we had 75 families that came each week and picked up their membership basket. They get to pick whatever they want, the vegetables. We go to the farmers market, and we sell to a couple of local restaurants. Yeah,
I see. It's too bad
Did you say in
Fayetteville?
Did you just say in Bentonville? It sounded like you said Bentonville.
I just said Bentonville.
Well, we got the recording. We'll listen to it.
I do say Fayetteville.
I heard you say Fayetteville.
Fayetteville.
But that's different than Bentonville.
Well, sorry, I forgot. All you transplants over here come from other places in the country.
Okay. East side of Arkansas.
Yeah, it's not much of a transplant.
That should be worse than you. But.
Yeah, well, I'm from Missouri.
Oh, that's
right. I call it Missouri, where I'm from. Missouri is the Southwest Missouri. Missouri.
I'm the Yankee here. I'm the Chicago.
Yeah, I know you are. Where'd you grow up in Chicago?
Aurora, Naperville area.
Oh, that's yeah. Isn't that Fremd High School? No, that's in Palatine.
No, we're kind of right on the border. We were in Naperville, and we had Necor Valley High School was where I went.
Okay.
Yeah.
I knew a girl from Naperville. I went to school at SIU Carbondale.
Okay. Right on.
And they were all Chicagoans up there.
Yeah.
Everybody was from Chicago.
Yeah.
So, Joe, no exit plans for Tuckaway Farms?
No, this is a lifestyle business.
Yeah. This is not an entrepreneurial venture.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. And that was a negotiation with Mary, right? Like, hey, we're going to come back. We're going to do this thing. We had learned to work together on the boat, wanted to continue that. And I found that I needed boundaries. I've got 23 acres to work with. That's a boundary that I can't expand beyond, right? And the farm has to fit on that.
Yeah.
And so it has helped. And I can stack enterprises all day long on top of that, right? We can think about hospitality. We can think about events. We can think about farm to table cooking classes, but it all has to fit on this 23 acres. And so that creates some constraints for me, which are important. Yeah. I'm getting to a point where I do miss some of the unconstrained side of what I do. And so about 4 or 5 months ago, I started doing some consulting, and that's been a blast working with, early stage companies and enterprises who want to think a bit differently.
Yeah, that's good. Start playing with those old talents and desires. Real quick before we close up, I do want to say something about Mary. Let's talk about what her feelings were watching you go through RevUnit, working so hard, and then, what it's like today.
Yeah. She's my secret weapon. And anyone who's been through it understands the difference between going home to a more stressful environment than your work environment and going home to a peaceful, happy, restful place.
We're both agreeing.
I get it.
When work is your stress reliever, that's a problem when you're an entrepreneur. So
it is.
Mary was always that centering force.
Yeah.
She's one of those people that's happy anywhere at any time in any circumstances. So whether I was successful or utter failure, she was going to feel the same way about me.
She loves you.
Yeah, she just loves me. And she doesn't need a lot, to be happy, And so
that's great.
Now she has some expensive tastes. But in absence of having means to do that, she wouldn't. And anyway, so she really is a strength. And it's been fun, for those 15 years where I was working really hard. I got a lot of professional development. And now coming back, she's the farm manager. And it's fun to give her that opportunity now for her to stretch and grow, because our kids are getting older. They don't need her quite as much. Yeah. And she's learning to manage people, and she's learning to run an organization, and she's putting together a revenue plan for the farm right now for 2026. And
it's great.
And she's growing, and it's really fun to be a part of that with her and to be doing it with her. So we have a great time.
It's fantastic.
I got to ask him one very personal question.
Well, go right ahead, Mark.
If you don't mind.
Of course. I think it's great.
So you had the exit from RevUnit. You did all the stuff that you did. Are you living on less than you are bringing in currently, or are you eating into your cash?
Yeah, I've got lessons learned there for sure.
Because I do.
How much time do you have?
Shit out of my cash.
That's why I'm working so hard now.
Yeah.
We like to spend it. I can't.
So here's the thing you don't understand. So as an entrepreneur,
That's awesome.
yeah.
What a great place.
As an entrepreneur, you are like fully geared towards capital appreciation.
Yeah,
Yes.
Like all I care about is capital appreciation,
More
the
money.
size of my exit, right? And then,
Exactly.
you achieve that and you write yourself out of the plan like I did and you walk away and you're like, wait, but I used to get this amount of money every month. Like, where did that go?
Right. You don't have, exactly.
What the hell?
And all of a sudden I start selling stock to buy groceries.
I know. Oh, dude, I hear you.
Oh, man.
I think that's also very common. And then we end up doing
Guilty.
other things.
Yeah, guilty.
Yeah.
Guilty. Spend more money on more ideas.
And you're addicted
Wow.
to capital appreciation. So you go to your financial advisor, you're like, well, I just want this kind of income coming. And they're like, all right, well, to do that, you're going to have to take this massive lump sum and put it in this annuity that makes you 5%. I'm like, 5%?
What's that? Where's the 350%?
Yeah.
I can't do that.
Exactly.
There's no way I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
And so
That's it. Precisely.
It's really hard.
Yeah.
So you're either selling assets to buy groceries, or you're finding another way to make money, or you're like, and so I think that's the other thing that consulting does is that it allows me to pay for our lifestyle.
Yeah.
With a portion of my time.
I'm
It's intellectually
with you.
stimulating. And so I was drawing down for a very long time. Until finally I was like, this has got to end. And I need to.
Joe is so honest.
I know that.
I love having Joe here.
Well, I love that discussion because it makes me feel better, a little bit better about myself.
But
I mean, I feel like I might be worse.
so many of us fall
dude.
into that. But I think like people that come from like corporate America and they're used to thinking about the size of their retirement fund, they're geared to do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But then then after that, it's like, okay, like where do we go out to eat at 4:00 every day or whatever? Their life gets kind of boring.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
We're not going to live like that. None of us are. We can't help it.
No, that's why when you said in the beginning, well, podcast videos, I mean, not much of it actually like shit the hell it ain't. Like, bro.
But dude, compared to the other stuff that you do, though.
Oh, no, they're all going to be bigger and bigger. Mark, it gets bigger and bigger.
You
and
got
bigger.
the AI business
So
and all
that's
that.
bigger too. That's
It's
bigger,
like,
bigger.
I love
And
it.
then after these, it gets
love
even bigger,
I love it.
right?
I
It is
love
our
the way you
blessing
said it.
and our curse.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
And my wife, she's a lot like what you're talking about. She's just like, okay, babe. Very just
Yeah.
it's great though. It's
It is.
fantastic. I think it's always good to point out the spouses, at least.
Oh.
I mean, absolutely cornerstone to all this.
No
Couldn't
question.
do it without them at all.
We had our spouses on the show.
It was scary.
did you
We
really?
were scared.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah, we were.
We need to do that again.
That's a great.
I know.
Get
we should do it
get
again.
me scared.
Yeah, maybe they'll be a little nicer, a little more
The
relaxed.
tension's kind of all part of it, though.
You know?
I like the
No.
charge.
Sonya's very relaxed.
I'm getting a window into your marriage.
Yeah, won't take long.
But yeah, it would be fun. Get all those spouses together. Should have all three of them on here at
Yeah.
once.
Yeah.
Wouldn't
Mary
it? They
would
could
love
talk
that.
about us and talk to each other.
We
We can
just
learn something about ourselves.
give them the microphones and we
Yeah.
get to sit in the corner and just
Ooh,
listen for an hour.
That would
be painful.
really be interesting. Get us completely out of the picture.
And then they record us watching it on that screen on the front.
Yeah, we were sitting there.
Whoa.
side by side. Oh, don't go there, honey. Don't tell that story. Yeah, that's
No,
not.
we got to stop this now. No, Eric, you can't. That was a rule.
A good partner is truly invaluable. No question
Yeah.
about it. All right. Well, listen, Joe, if anybody wants to talk to you about getting your help as a consultant, where do they find you?
Yep. The easiest way is to email me. It's my name, Joe Saumweber at Gmail. I'm a pretty. I don't have a big website. It's kind of a if you know you
that's
know
fine.
kind of a thing.
Yeah. Okay. So
Primitive.
Yeah.
Joe
If you know you know.
Joe Saumweber is Saumweber. That's how Saumweber
That's
spelled.
right.
Joe Saumweber at gmail.com. All right. Well, it's been great. Our time is up. We got to go back to our farms and business building and
Yeah,
whatever else we're going to do today.
that's right.
Thanks
So
for having me, guys.
it's been great having you
Appreciate
here,
it,
Joe.
Bobo.
Really is.
Appreciate you.
Really appreciate you. Very interesting story, and really admire what you've done, way you live your life.
Likewise.
So until next week, this has been another episode of
Big talk about small businesses.
Thanks for tuning into this episode of Big Talk About Small Business. If you have any questions or ideas for upcoming shows, be sure to head over to our website, www.bigtalkaboutsmallbusiness.com, and click on the Ask the Host button for the chance to have your questions answered on the show. Stay connected with us on LinkedIn at Big Talk About Small Business. And be sure to head over to our website to read articles, browse episodes, and ask questions about upcoming shows.